Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Hanley. Mankato police are still looking for a man who led them on a chase overnight. It happened just after 2:30 this morning. According to Mankato Public Safety, an officer tried to make a traffic stop, but the driver fled before crashing his car at Glenview Avenue and Main Street. Shizzle says police were initially looking for a St. Peter man whose wallet was found in the car. He says that man came forward this afternoon with additional information, and as a result, authorities now believe someone else may have been the driver. The driver of the car remains at large, and authorities aren't releasing his identity. The matter remains under investigation. Authorities say they've arrested a suspect in the theft of 2 vintage cars from a Mankato business last month. Police say 44-year-old Syl Boswell of Brooklyn Park is charged with 4 counts of theft, 1 count of burglary, and 4 counts of damage to property. Last month, the cars were reported stolen from Unique Specialty and Classics in Mankato. A Corvette was quickly recovered. A 1987 Buick Grand National was found in the Twin Cities, impounded, and then again stolen from the impound lot and recovered again. The value of both cars totals more than $70,000. More than 40 countries have banned poultry imports from Minnesota after a strain of avian flu wiped out a flock of 15,000 birds in about a week. The ban includes the entire European Union and most of Central America. News broke this week that the virus had swept through an unidentified farm in Pope County, the first appearance of the strain in the Mississippi Flyway. Farmers are upping their precautions, and state and federal veterinarians will test turkeys from roughly 20 backyard flocks within a 6-mile radius of the affected site. Minnesota farmers send about 6 million turkeys to international market every year, roughly 13.5% of total production. The latest job report surprised economists. Businesses are adding workers at the fastest pace in 17 years. The economy adding 295,000 jobs last month. That's more than expected. The unemployment rate falling to 5.5%, and that's partly because some unemployed people stopped looking for work and are no longer counted as unemployed. Signs of a stronger job market actually pushed down the stock market. Investors fear the Federal Reserve will start raising interest rates sooner. Dozens of workers have been laid off from Palm Beach Marine Craft in New Ulm. Since 2011, Palm Beach Marine Craft has been owned by Premier Marine but has functioned independently. Recently, Premier Marine decided to consolidate all of their companies, including Weary's. Production for both brands will continue at Premier's main manufacturing plant in Wyoming, Minnesota, while specialized production will remain at New Ulm's plant. Car washes are seeing plenty of work now that warmer weather has arrived. That Head Car Wash is dealing with their busiest day of the year so far. With weeks of snow and icy road conditions, having a clean car for more than a few days was out of the question due to the salt and sand on the roads. With the forecasted warm weather, car washes are gearing up for a busy next few days. Employees at Snell say they have to expect more than 700 cars washed by the end of the day today. Governor Dayton wants to cut the number of standardized tests for Minnesota students by 1/3. The governor says teachers spend too much time administering and preparing students for those tests. He wrote in a letter to lawmakers Friday, too much testing stifles teachers' creativity and makes them less effective. The federal No Child Left Behind Act requires yearly standardized tests. Minnesota is one of more than 40 states allowed to deviate from the law. Health officials say a 6th child has died of the flu this season in Minnesota. The latest report from the Minnesota Department of Health says 13 people were hospitalized in the last week of February, down 29 from the week before. More than 3,000 people have been hospitalized so far this season, double the number of people last season. Schools and long-term care facilities experience the majority of outbreaks. The health department doesn't report the number of adult deaths related to the flu on a weekly basis. Former Vice President Walter Mondale is in the hospital with the flu. The 87-year-old Mondale was supposed to introduce former President Carter at the annual Nobel Peace Prize forum. Instead, Carter told the crowd that his former vice president was at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, but that he was doing well. He said Mondale had gone to the hospital for a routine checkup after he was admitted. Doctors discovered he had the flu. Despite Mondale's absence, Carter's speech went on as scheduled at the forum. The former president spoke about multiple issues such as ending human trafficking and genital mutilation of young girls around the world, and said people should focus more on education and protection of human rights. The theme of this year's event is disarmament. The forum is scheduled to go on until Sunday. The 34th annual Farm City Hub Club is underway in New Ulm. The event ties farm and city together and is known as the largest indoor farm show in south central Minnesota, where more than 100 vendors are set up inside the New Ulm Civic Center. The show runs again tomorrow from 10 to 5. Tonight in Health Watch, daylight saving comes around again early Sunday morning, and it's not the fun one. We'll be turning our clocks ahead 1 hour, which means we lose an hour of sleep. KUIC News 12's Ryan Gustafson talks with the neurologist about why it's so hard to lose that hour and what you can do to get ready.